Hey everyone, John here from Gaming in the Wild with another video for you. I thought I would run down some of the games that are coming out this October, some indie games, some AAA games, lots of good stuff coming out. But it's been a while since the last video, so before we do that, I thought we'd give you a little roundup of the stuff I've been playing. I've dipped into a lot of stuff lately. I started playing the Plucky Squire, an innocent little story game where you play through the pages of a storybook as the hero of the story. But the twist is, the villain becomes aware that you're in a book and he kicks you out of the story so that he can become the hero, I guess. It's a really fun gimmick where you're kicked out into a 3D world that's like a Toy Story-esque child's bedroom. I'm only about halfway through this game, but I'm really enjoying the interplay between 2D and 3D gameplay, the way that you can tilt the book, manipulate the book, turn the pages, jump in and out of the story. It's also really referential to old video games with sections that relate to Super Punch-Out and to Bomberman. I really like this sort of meta fairy tale thing that they have going on. A really nice little game. I also cashed in some PlayStation points to get Cat Quest 3. I was feeling the FOMO a little bit after some good reviews. I haven't played these games before, but they're top-down adventure games with a childlike style, where the RPG overworld is the whole world basically, dungeons aside. There's a light story that's basically meaningless about seeking out some kind of lost treasure. The focus is on a lot of snappy, instantly gratifying gameplay. There's simple ship combat, there's decent melee combat, there's light, small dungeons, secret side quests, tons to do. It's all a bit aggressively jaunty for my taste, with all the cat puns and so forth, but this is a really simple, enjoyable video game-ass video game that I will definitely dip into from time to time. Really fun little game. That's Cat Quest 3. I also finished a couple of games. I finished, in inverted commas, Balatro, and it is a game that honestly seems to go on forever with hundreds of collectibles that you can unlock, so a completionist run would take a lot longer than I've put into it. But that said, I set my own goalposts for this one, and that was to finish a run with all of the 15 decks that you can unlock, and to finish a run with all of the different stakes that are modifiers that change up your runs. I'm a big deck builder fan. I do have a video about deck builders that I'll flash up on the screen right now, and I have to say that even in comparison to things like Slay the Spire and Monster Train, this might just be the best one I've ever played. I think the gameplay actually has a lot more longevity and variety than Slay the Spire, just because of the sheer amount of jokers that you can unlock. Even after 100 hours, I felt like I was unlocking new jokers or getting different combinations that made me change up my gameplay, made me think about what I was doing, and really just kept the whole thing very fresh. All of the jokers interact in such different ways that you're constantly having to rethink your approach to the deck, and you're prioritizing different hands, different joker combos in each run. It always feels new. It's a game that's going to be on a lot of Game of the Year lists come year end. It'll certainly be on mine. I think that's very well deserved, and it's lovely to see a new generation of players trying it out since it landed on Apple Arcade and phone. That is Balatro. I also want to say a few words about Star Wars Outlaws. This is a game about which the online discourse has been pretty rancid, the keyboard warriors coming out in full force. And I'm no Ubisoft mega fan or anything, but I had a great time with this game. It's an excellent open-world sci-fi adventure. The main campaign is really decent. I really liked Kay Vess. I think she's a really compelling heroine, and I think that the voice performance was really good. I think Nyx was not only a lovable companion, but genuinely useful. You can send him to open hatches, reach inaccessible buttons, steal things from areas you can't reach. You're using Nyx all the time. I was very impressed by that integration. And I even loved the food sequences. These are food trucks that you can go to all around the galaxy and have a meal with Nyx. Really lovable stuff. And there's just so much to do in this game. They really packed a lot in. There's the factions with different loyalties, there's side quests of all kinds, there are contracts that you can do, the space combat, exploration, upgrading your ship, your speeder, your blaster, your loadout, and there are some cameos from the first trilogy that will make Star Wars fans really happy. They certainly did for me. It's definitely true that the stealth sections absolutely suck, but Ubisoft really want this game to be successful, so they're patching it to make it a little bit better. Good to see player feedback being listened to, I think, even if it's more about selling more games than it is about player sentiment. But overall, it's dripping in Star Wars atmosphere. It'll probably be on sale soon, so grab it then if you want to try it out. That's Star Wars Outlaws. Moving on to the games that are coming out this month, we've had a few releases already. On the 3rd, we got Parcel Core, a really fun-looking bike delivery game where you're tricking and doing stunts and delivering things from place to place. Looks like there's loads of side quests and it has a lot of character. Only a couple of reviews in so far and it's getting 7 out of 10s, but if you like Tony Hawk and things like that and you're craving a stunt game, try out Parcel Core. Also on the 3rd was Kill Knight by Playside. This is a very stylish, isometric, mega hard roguelike. Imagine Dark Souls difficulty in a Hades-style environment with a really cool, gothic visual look to it, and you'll get the idea of what this one's all about. It's sitting on a 91 on Metacritic from only 4 reviews, but that's a pretty mighty score. So if you're at all interested in this kind of thing, try out Kill Knight. On the 4th, we've got a game that's taken the internet by storm. It's called Grun. It's by the Sock Pop Collective. That's a collective of game designers that release one game a month for their patrons, but occasionally one gets a life of its own and kind of becomes a hit and it has a full-fledged release. Grun is one of those. It's billed as a totally normal gardening game, and I think that's enough to tell you that it's not. There is a gardening element to it, of course, but you'll be digging up strange things, you'll be exploring a big old house. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to playing this one, especially because it's coming in under $10 with the current release discount, so I'm certainly going to be trying this one out. I want to know the secrets of Grun. On the 7th, we get Phoenix Springs, the first game by Calligram Studio. It's coming out on PC and Mac. It's a very stylized, arty, puzzly point and click with a fantastic eye-catching art style. It looks amazing, like pen and ink drawings with blocked colour. It has point and click gameplay that's going to be based on clues and solving mysteries and puzzles. If you're the kind of person that enjoyed Lorelei and the Laser Eyes earlier in the year, look this one up. That's Phoenix Springs, out on Steam on the 7th. On the 8th, we get the first big release of Spooky Season. It's the Silent Hill 2 remake by Bloober Team, published by Konami, of course. I did play the original Silent Hill 2 back in the day, and I really enjoyed it. And I watched a comparison video of this one. It looks like they've taken away some of that misty strangeness that it had and cleaned up the visuals a lot. I think in a lot of games that's a really good thing, like in the amazing Dead Space remake, which was just, a visual step up from the original. But here I think the blurriness, the fogginess, the kind of intrinsic haunted VHS tape feel of it all has been lost somehow. That said, the reviews have been good. People say there are added environments, they've changed up the order of the storyline, they've added puzzles to do and that kind of thing. So if you're a Silent Hill fan and you've been looking for something spooky to play this month, it's out on PlayStation and PC on the 8th. Another big one on the 10th, it's Metaphor ReFantasio by Studio Zero, the makers of Persona, under a new guise. It's published, of course, by Atlas. It's coming out on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox Series. It's the first non-Persona thing that team have made, and it looks like a similar grand RPG with social elements, with combat, with turn-based stuff, with environments to explore, and a really striking visual style. The previews of this one have been red hot, so I'm expecting the reviews to come in hot too. Could be a GOTY contender. That's Metaphor ReFantasio. On the 11th, we get a much-anticipated indie game. It is Europa by solo developer Helder Pinto, published by Future Friends. It's coming out on all the consoles and PC. This is a very cute little exploration game with different movement powers, traversal. You can jet up into the air, you can fly around. It's got a Studio Ghibli art style and a heartwarming, nostalgic-feeling sci-fi story. I played the demo of this one and found it a little bit clunky, but then it was held back from release for a few months to be tightened up, so I'm quite curious to play the full release and see how it goes down. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to this one, so I'm hoping for it to come out well. That's Europa, out on the 11th. And that takes us to my most anticipated game of the month. It's coming out on the 15th. It is Neva, or Neva. I'm not sure how we're saying that yet. It's by Nomada Studio, the makers of Gris. It's published by Devolver. It's coming to all the consoles and PC. And it looks like it continues that lovely watercoloured, hand-drawn art style of Gris. This time we have the introduction of combat, so that's going to be an interesting thing to see how Nomada's combat feels. It has a Princess Mononoke vibe with some really beautiful environments too, and we have a wolf companion with a time skip, so we'll meet it as a young pup and we'll know it when it becomes an antlered giant later in the game. Really looking forward to this one. That's Neva on the 15th. Also on the 15th, Squirrel with a Gun is finally coming out. This is that meme game that sort of popped off on social media. You play as a squirrel with, yes, a full-sized handgun. It's got a Goat Simulator style sandboxy weird feel to it. It's not one for me, but I thought I would let you know that it's coming out because I know it got a lot of attention when it first came into the spotlight. That's Squirrel with a Gun, out on the 15th. On the 22nd, another spooky game is Fear the Spotlight by Cozy Game Pals, released by Blumhouse Games. I know a lot of people will be stocking up on spooky indies, and so if that's you, then Fear the Spotlight looks like one to try. More my speed is Wilmot Works It Out. That's the sequel to Wilmot's Warehouse. It's by Hollow Ponds, published by Finji. Really cute little pattern matching game, just a very chill one. But I've always got room in my heart for something like this. I love a game that you can just sit back and enjoy whilst you're watching a show, watching YouTube, watching your favourite streamer, that kind of thing. Wilmot Works It Out, definitely one of those. On the 29th, we get the Life is Strange Double Exposure. It's a sequel to the first game, starring Max Caulfield once again. This time the secret power is that we can travel between timelines, giving it a metaverse-y style thing, where some characters might die in one timeline, but then you can talk to them in another, and you're probably going to have to make some pretty hard choices about which timeline to stay in, or which one becomes the ultimate reality. I do like Life is Strange games. They always seem to come out in the autumn time, and there's a mood that sort of suits that season. I'm looking forward to trying this one. That's Life is Strange Double Exposure on the 29th. Also on the 29th, another spooky one. It's Post Trauma by Red Soul Games, published by the ever-reliable indie publisher Raw Fury. I've only seen one trailer for this one, but it looks like you control a Japanese guy who is exploring the subway system. He looks like maybe a delivery guy or something like that. and it has like an Alan Wake 2-ish altered reality vibe to it. So that's another one for the horror fans. And then finally on the 31st, another big one, it is Dragon Age The Veilguard by BioWare, published by EA. I've never actually played a Dragon Age game, but I am watching this one with interest. I'm curious to see how the reviews come in. Curious to know if it's a good starting point to get into the series. It's coming out on PlayStation and Xbox. It looks very high budget. I like the visual style of it. The combat looks interesting too, so Dragon Age fans rejoice. You have a brand new entry in your favourite series. That's Dragon Age The Veilguard out on the 31st. So that's our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Really fun to talk through all the games I've been playing and the good stuff that is coming out next month. As far as the channel goes, sorry that it's been a bit quiet lately. I've been moving house, I've been changing job, there's been a lot of stuff going on in my life. But things are settling down now, so I hope to be able to make more videos for you soon. If you would like to support this channel, you can of course pop over to Patreon. This channel has an absolutely lovely Discord community made up of patrons of the channel and the podcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can join in. There are all sorts of social events going on in there. There's a game and book club. There are games of the month. There is a single sitting social club where we play a short game each month and talk about it. You're very welcome to join us at patreon.com/gaminginthewild to support this channel and to join the community. That's it for this video, so take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the next one.